Aid, give them a job. That's how you fight ISIS. That was, of course, Bono on Capitol Hill yesterday, talking about ISIS and the migrant crisis. As I said, he suggests that poverty is the cause for the rise of ISIS. Let's see what Katie McFarland thinks about that. She's got a smile on her face early this morning. What do you make of that?
Well, I think musicians should not be giving me national security advice. They should stick to singing. You know, look.
We agree on that one.
The president of Iraq, who's a Kurd, Fuad Massoum, he told me that the ISIS was born in the prisons of Baghdad, when it was the religious fanatics that were in jail, coupled with, and they hooked up with, the generals of the Saddam's Iraqi army. They got together, so they had the religious fanatics and they had the military wherewithal and organizational ability, and that's ISIS.
Wouldn't it not also be true to say that many of the terrorists that we've seen in Europe and the 9/11 hijackers, they came from relatively wealthy families, didn't they not? They got money.
That's a really key point that most people overlook. They think, oh, it's poor people, strap on the suicide vest. It's the wealthy Islamic extremists who get the guys to strap on the suicide vest. They're the ringleaders, and it's Al-Qaeda with wealthy families, as well as a lot of the masterminds of ISIS are from upper-class backgrounds.
I didn't get it, what he was saying, Bono was saying about the migrant crisis. He actually said, look, it threatens the very existence of Europe.
Completely.
He said it, and I think we all agree on that.
That's absolutely right.
But then he said, we've got to open up here. Let more of them come here. That I don't get.
Again, I'm really not going to take my national security advice from rock stars, as well as I'm not going to get my music from politicians.
Well, why is it, well said, why is it that we have essentially a musician, a singer, a very talented guy?
Yeah.
What's he doing passing judgment on our aid policy to the Middle East?
Well, he's been very involved in a lot of the aid policies himself. Now, he did make one point that I thought was actually worth thinking about. He said, let's send comics to ISIS. Let's send Amy Schumer. Let's send funny people to ISIS. And that may sound crazy, but I think it gets to a bigger point, which is information warfare. We have tried to deal with radical Islam militarily for way too long, and militarily alone. I think we need a different policy that includes military, but has an information warfare. It has ideological warfare, religious warfare, and takes advantage of all the elements of national power the same way we defeated the communists in the Cold War and the Nazis in World War II.
They don't react very well to cartoons, do they?
No, they don't. It rattles them. But there's also a poll that came out this week, a very large and extensive poll of young Muslims, mostly in the Sunni world, young Muslim, particularly men, and they are waning on their enthusiasm for the Islamic State. That's an opportunity for us to reach that group, use ideological propaganda, and talk to them about how bad that ISIS is and how there is another way.
Propaganda.
I like propaganda. We're good at it. I'll get back in that business.
Katie, you'll be back later in the show. We appreciate you being here.